This is Fishing for River Monsters.
Oh my gosh, that's a big one right there. Here we go. That feels like a big one. That's another good one. Fishing for River Monsters, episode 3, baby. Listen, I am so pumped and blessed to be out here today. It's a beautiful day, 75 degrees in December. It has dropped down into the 20s this past week, but today is so beautiful. Not only that, but the tide is right and we have not been on the river in months. So today is gonna be a fun experience. I think we're gonna absolutely smoke the fish. We're gonna go on the hunt for some river monsters, try to catch some big ones more importantly. And I cannot wait to take you guys along this journey. We filmed 2 Fishing for River Monster episodes this past summer. We filmed a standard Fishing for River Monsters and we absolutely smoked them after not being on the river in forever. And then episode 2 was frog fishing for river monsters. And we also had a really good day that day. So today, we're gonna start heading downriver and see if we can target some of these river monsters. And more importantly, have a good time, baby. Let's hop into it. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gents, without further ado, let's get to fishing, baby. Fishing for River Monsters, episode 3.
Before we get deeper into this video, only 27% of y'all watching these videos are actually subscribed. So if you could, take the time, hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel. I'd appreciate it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I could not be more excited than to be on this beautiful river today. We're gonna start off with a little Texas rig. Got a June bug red worm on there. Got it paired up on my Kicking Their Bass TV X-Lose combo. If you guys wanna check them out, kickingtheirbass.com. They'll be linked down below. Perfect Christmas present for this time of year. But without further ado, we're gonna start off on this bank up here. And right now, I like fishing the river on an outgoing tide. And it's pretty low. This is lower than what it usually is when I come out. I had a lot of things to do this morning and just got caught up. But with that being said, what you wanna fish on the river is a low tide or an outgoing tide. That's when you're really gonna catch those fish biting and in an active phase. Let's go ahead and start casting. Hopefully we can go ahead and start off on a fish on this bank, and if not, we're gonna keep on heading down river. And if that's totally not working for us, we're actually gonna head up. So let's keep on making some casts here. This current today is absolutely ripping. Got a good bit of wind too, which on the river, I really don't care for wind that much, just because the current's already giving the water a lot of flow. So the wind is kind of irrelevant in my opinion right now. We're just by the marsh and it can tend to get windy out here. This bank right here is right on the edge of the main river. And it's got a lot of trees and big old stumps on the edge. And as you guys can tell, they're already visible. So they're out of the water. There's still a couple that are down there in the water. Like I'm on one going over it right now. And if you time the spot correctly, it can be really good. But I almost feel like we might be a little too late to the party. I'm not saying that for sure, but it might be one of those things where we missed this by about an hour. When you're fishing tidal water fisheries like the river here, it's all about timing. It's all about the tides. You gotta time everything correctly. Honestly, when it's this low too, like I'm throwing a Texas rig, but it's not a bad idea to pick up like a spinnerbait and kind of fan cast, because some of these fish can tend to get more off the bank when that water's low like that. They can tend to push off. Like some fish could be around our boat here, but we're also only in 4 foot of water. I mean, we're fishing very shallow right now. With how the tide is right now, we only have about 2.5 hours of fishing today, which means we're gonna have to move pretty quick. I'm gonna try not to get caught up on too many things, caught up on spots in the past that we've done well at. You know, today I really wanna focus on moving, covering water, fishing efficient, and not getting hung up if the fish aren't biting on a specific spot. If they're not, we just move and we go. That's what's gonna make our day successful today, is if we can adjust. Oh yeah. Oh, come on. He just slapped the back of it right there. Dude. He might have took my worm, man. Oh, he didn't. Right on the front end of that cypress tree, which is interesting. You think he'd be on the back side of it. All right, what did we say? We can't get caught up. Let's keep on moving. We're gonna find these fish. All right, boys, spot number 2. This river's actually lower than I thought. It's pretty freaking low. The more downriver we go, the more low it's gonna get to. But I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think it was this low, man. Kind of caught me off guard, but that is okay. This spot might be too low right now, but we're gonna try it anyways. I feel like we can still possibly get a couple good bites up here. We'll try it for just a little bit. We'll work a little bit of the ways in, but usually these rocks right here can be pretty good. And if they're going to be good with it this low, it's probably going to be this like front corner section. You know, on low tide, I like to think about these fish funneling out of these locations. So if the fish are way back in the pocket of that marina, you want to think that when it goes low tide that these fish are all moving out to the front section. So realistically, they should be right there on that point or on this corner. And we're not completely at low yet. I mean, it's going to get way lower than this, but it's pretty dang low. Oop, there we go. No way. That was a bite right there, and he took my tail. Look at that. Took my old tailio. It's okay, we're gonna throw it right back in there. If I gotta put a new one on, I will, but usually when I get a bite like that, I wanna get back in there as quick as possible. All right, we're gonna do it. We'll switch out real fast. So that's a little worm that I'm using. Just like a little speed worm style bait. June bug with a red flake. And I didn't really talk about it, but you know, we're just throwing this on a, I know I said Texas rig, but we got a 1/4 ounce lead bullet weight on a 3 to 4 extra wide gap hook. This is one of those spots that you technically just hit it when the water's going out, a little more higher than this. I mean, if you look at the rocks, you can tell where the water goes up to, and that's what you want. You know, it makes sense for fish to be here because of those rocks, but if the rocks are out of the water, why would fish be here? And if they're gonna be anywhere, they're gonna be right where we got a bite, right out there. So maybe we'll throw a few right here while we're floating, and then we're gonna keep on sending it. Keep moving. All right, boys. This is that chupapi spot, boy. We about to chupapi that bait right in that fish's mouth. I'm telling you, we might be surprised at what we see right here. It's one of them spots, man. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised we hook a big old redfish. And this is a spot where, like, back in here, I thought I could have been able to get in here, Eddie, but this water's so low, dude. So freaking low. I can't even believe it. Last week it was not like that because I drove by the river and it was high, but it's low, and we're gonna get a fish right here. Uh-oh, we're on. Dude, it's something nice. This is a saltwater fish, guys. It's a bass. No way. It's a bass. Oh, come on, baby. It's a good one. Come here, boy. Let's go, baby. Come on. I swear I had like a redfish or a flounder. Let's go, baby. Come on. You are fat. You are fat. Beautiful fish. Wow. There we go, guys. That is the first fish of the video, first bass of the video for fishing for river monsters. And not a big one by any means, but it's a chunky bass, man. And I want you guys to notice on these Ogeechee bass, you see that mouth? Little tiny mouth on that boy? Let's go, man. He was fighting so weird. And plus I did not assume or think that a bass was gonna eat that saltwater swim bait. But thank you so much, buddy. You were a nice fish. There he goes. Upwards close to 2 pounds. That is not what we want. We want a monster, but guess what? To catch monsters, you have to start catching fish. And it always feels good to get on board for the day. Let's go, man. Come on. Let's go. I was starting to get a little nervous. I'm like, we're gonna have to go upriver, man. Like, which I'm not, I love upriver. Matter of fact, it's one of my favorite things to do out here, but I just didn't want to come downriver and just totally get skunked, like without anything. So that feels good right there. I just didn't want to think that I made the wrong decision. And I am a little out of practice on the river because I haven't been out here in like 4 months. So it's one of those things where it's not like I can just pull it to a spot and be like, they're going to be here 100%, especially since we timed this wrong. We thought that this was going to be higher than what it actually was. Let's see if we can get us another fish here. Something I've been wanting to do. We're going to do it real quick. This is obviously our pond bait. We don't want to throw that here. We're gonna tie us on this white spinnerbait right here. This looks beautiful. I honestly feel like this bait today is gonna be a game changer. That being said as well, we're gonna go in here a little bit. Normally I'd go way back, but we're not gonna do that just because I don't wanna get stuck. Throwing the spinnerbait is gonna help us cover a little bit of water and get a feel on what's going on. There we go. That feels like a big one. Oh yeah, that's something big. Feels big, man. I just ain't used to these river bass. What is it? Oh yeah, that's a good bat. Oh yeah, come here. Let's go. Look at how fat that bass is. God, look at how fat he is. I mean, holy cow. I ain't used to these river bass, man. That shows. These things fight hard, guys. God. Like, it's so crazy because this little 2-pounder here, about a 2-pounder, fought like a 4-pound bass you catch out of a pond. So crazy right there. Beautiful fish. Look at that, boys. We're getting on board today. Oh yeah, that was a good fish. If you guys are wondering, like, Noah, why these river bass fight hard, it's because every day they're fighting in the current. Like, every day they're fighting for their life with that water. And with that being said, we only had a spinnerbait tied on for a couple minutes, man, and already got bopped. It might be the go today. Now I'm gonna do something a little different than I usually do out on this spot. We're actually gonna drop the power poles in the back, anchor down right here, and we're gonna really fish this section. Because it's one of those things, when you have water moving, the water's still pulling out, there's a lot of fish that are going to replenish here. And I've never fished this spot in particular like that, but I just feel like this can be a good idea. We're going to have to actually go get that sadly. And the wind is coming down, guys. It's like we're in a freaking storm. It's actually insane. There's a big old tree down here that I actually caught that fish on, and I threw back on it and got hooked. Put the cinder down there. All right, boys. That was a win, but we gotta get out of here because of the wind. It is crazy. Not just because of the wind. It's honestly really low. Now I don't want to get stuck up here, so we got to get moving. All right, boys, just made it upriver. Different change of scenery, but this is where I've been wanting to fish all day. I wanted to go down just to try to get into something a little different, and I didn't know how the water was going to be. But I feel good. I feel really good about this up here. I feel very spicy about it. Oh, I'm getting a little pumped, getting a little excited. Well, the drive up here was a little sketchy too. The sandbars were low, man. Fish down this stretch right here off this bend. There's a bend in the river, a bunch of current that drags and hits on this side of the bank. And this can be a very good section for some nice bass. What if I'm just feeling a little spicy? What if I'm like, you know what? We're gonna try something crazy. What if I'm like, you know what? I want to catch a fish on topwater in December. Maybe I do. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. Guess what? We're going to try it. I don't think I've ever caught a fish on topwater in December. That's why it's kind of like a bragging point. Like, if we can catch a fish on topwater in December, that would be pretty cool to say. You know, we caught our PB on the river on a buzzbait in December. I mean, that'd be a cool story. And when I'm 70 years old, that just lives with me forever. You know what I mean? Can we make that moment happen like right now? Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. If you guys look at that right there, you see that little bit of natural water pouring out of this creek. That's something to always pay attention to. There we go. Oh my gosh, that's a big one right there. Stay pinned, baby. Stay pinned. Let's go, son. Come on. Keep her pinned. That's a big bass. That is a big river bass. Oh my gosh. Stay pinned. This current sketched me out. It's pulling them. Let's go, baby. Come on. Let's go, son. She was barely on too, boy. Right up on that cypress tree. And that right there is a good river bass. Oh my goodness. Let's go, baby. Not quite 4 pounds, but she's a high 3-pounder right there. Super fat and healthy. You know, those bass here in the wintertime, one, just get really fat, and two, just look at how beautiful that fish is right there. That is why we come out on the river, and that is what we're hunting for. Obviously, we'd love to see an 8-pounder. On a day like today that's tough in December, cannot complain with a bass like that. Let's go, son. There we go, boys. We're gonna get a quick picture and get her back in the water. There we go, boys. Beautiful one. We're gonna try to get one twice her size, but look at that pretty bass. Oh man, thank you so much, baby. If we're fishing a tournament today, those are the ones you want right there. There she goes. Let's go, baby. Oh man, fished this bank for about 10-15 minutes. Was hoping to see some sort of action. There's a cypress tree right there on that bend, right in that little crevice. And those cypress trees, as you can tell up on the bank, they have a bunch of roots and legs that come out. And I threw a couple casts down this bank and I'm like, what am I doing? I kind of caught myself. I had to pause. I'm like, I'm throwing bad casts. That's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, I'm not throwing good casts. And I was like, you know what, let's throw a good cast here. Threw right up on that tree. Boom, got the biggest fish so far of today. Let's go, man. So one thing to pay attention to, if you look at my hook right there, that point actually bent out. That's kind of sketch. Usually I would just change my hook, but with us not having a ton of time, I'm just gonna bend it back. See, they could be super tight to that cover today, and that could have been a mistake that we were making. I mean, we weren't making good casts. It wasn't that I was casting horrible today. Like, I'm not casting great, but I'm not casting horrible. It's just I'm kind of just moving, and sometimes you get in that zone where you're just moving, and sometimes you got to slow down, think about what you're doing, and adjust. And that right there, first cast I adjust, boom, we get a good fish. That's honestly like changed my mind a little bit too, guys. That's our first bass that we've caught on the Texas rig. Not our first bite. We have had other bites throughout the day. That's our first bass. So we've caught one on a swim bait, saltwater swim bait. We caught one on the worm and one on a spinnerbait. But just how we had to fish this bait, how we had to place it, you know, really sparks my mind a little more. And I'm gonna start fishing a little differently throughout the day here. There we go. Another good bass, and he came off. Okay, you know what's crazy about that? That is actually 100% our fault. And I like you guys to see my mistakes, because at the end of the day, maybe it'll help you guys better yourself and not make the mistakes that I do. I knew that this hook was bad and I just didn't change it. I told myself that, you know, we don't have much time on the river today. Let's just, you know, skip that. When in reality, that was a must-do thing. It's almost a recipe for disaster. I was kind of setting myself up for failure there. And that blows, because that was actually a good fish. That was our second biggest one of the day. It looks like some good ones are biting here upriver, and we could have landed another good fish. But instead, your boy Noah is a dummy. So we're actually putting on a really good hook now. This is a Trocar 3/0 extra wide gap. We're gonna tie this on with a uni knot. The other hook we had, I think, was just a cheaper hook I had, and you know, you get what you pay for. And to be honest, like, normally I don't throw a speed worm on the river, but it's like working today, so it's like, why not continue to throw it? We had two really good fish. I mean, we should have landed that one, but like I said, just stupid decisions. Stupid decisions get us to that point. It's not like we're getting a million bites today either, so that one hurts even more. And first cast, we're hung up on a very sharp, expensive hook. All right, we got to shake this off. Try not to get frustrated. Once you start getting frustrated, that's when you start losing. Just know that. Gotta calm yourself down. But let's keep fishing this worm. I feel really good about it. The spinnerbait will pick up when we think we need to. I feel like this worm is a great choice for us right now. It's gotten us 2 good bites here upriver. We haven't got a bite on a spinnerbait upriver yet. With that being said, let's stick to what's working and just try to replicate it. One thing that we got to think about too is the 2 bites that we did have on this worm. Not saying it can't happen, but we had pretty instant, like we threw in there and then boom, they hit it. Which tells us 2 things. 1, you're more than likely going to get a bite right when you throw in, right when it gets by them. And 2, they're pushed way up on the bank. And with this tide going out, or not tide going out, but the tide being low, all the cover, you know, half of the cover goes, or half of the structure goes out of the water, and then you're left with some trees and everything down here. So it's kind of easy to target these bass when the water's low. That's another good one. That's another good one. Or do I got him hooked weird? God, he felt good. I had my line in his gill. I'm about to say, you were not moving, buddy. That's our first, like, not big one of the day, pretty small. But we'll take her, man. Anything today is a blessing. Look how small that mouth is and fat that belly is. Thank you, baby. So pretty. These fish are so pretty on this river. Thank you. That's perfect. Yeah, when that bass was coming through right there, my line, I had the hook in her mouth and then my line was in her gill. So I was just toting. She couldn't even swim. I was just toting her through the water. This right here, I feel like it's another good zone. This right here, and then also you got this little pocket mouth, which is not a bad idea to pick up the spinnerbait kind of cast in. And then you got some more good laydowns on that little point. There we go. That is insane. I saw that fish in the ditch on my graph, and I never use my graph on the river except the last time we came out. Hey, we figuring something out, man. This fish is tiny. This is a certified river bass right here, boy. Oh, he's got a broken jaw. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Hey, we'll take him. That was a couple casts after the last one. We're getting some momentum. And there's actually some more bass in that little ditch right there. I fished this river for about, 4 years. Around that time frame. The Savannah River I fished for a long time. I just don't go out there much anymore. And I've never used the graph on the river. I think you don't need a graph, which you don't at all. But the last time I was out, I used my graph to target some fish off the bank, and that actually just caught me that fish. It's kind of crazy. I would have probably thrown that cast anyways, but I did notice a couple down on the bottom. It's like creates a little ditch right there. Y'all see that up there? Dude, I thought that was a freaking snake. You see that thing? Like pretty close. I'm gonna say it's a little, I mean, it's not cold today. The one thing in this world I don't like, boys, and you probably know, is snakes, but I love, got a little ahead of myself, man. I was gonna say, but I love catching bass, and I caught me a tree. I actually do think that was a bite. I think it just was on the edge of the branch, and they probably did the same thing. All right, boys and girls. Just came up river a little bit. I saw this little stump right there. Look, I can't even cast that far. I don't know what just happened. I think the spinnerbait caught air and it was just done. You see that like random tree laying in the water though? I mean, it seems like something that a fish would be on. I happen to see it and I'm like, I want to stop early because that would be cool. I've seen it on low tide, guys. You'll be surprised. You throw around something like that and it's like, boom. This bank that we're coming up on down here, it's not as deep as the bank that we originally caught the 3.5 on and had those good bites, but it still sets up really good. I want you guys to notice on this bank where I wanted to stop is actually down there more, and you can see in the water there it changes color, and this is all flat. This is pretty flat right here. How water actually did muddy up. Do you guys see that mud line? I'm pretty sure that's from me driving the boat through here. I don't think it's any more than that. I hope I didn't blow out the bank. I think right here it's just heavier than normal because of how all the mud is. But this right here down this bank, like you can tell it drops off more. Like this tree right here, like this looks, oh yeah, this looks good. Yep. Spinnerbait bite, baby. Oh yeah, she's fighting good. Come here, baby. It's crazy how strong these river bass are. I love it, dude. Oh, that's a good one. Oh my gosh, she's fatter than I thought. I mean, look at how good those fish are. Look at the belly. That's a 2.5 pounder and a 1.5 pounder's body right there. So dense, I'm telling you. The bass are so dense. Oh, let's go, son. That's the first tree on the bank. That's where I was gonna stop. This might be good. This might treat us well. Let's toss the spinnerbait for a minute, man. I love that. Like, catching them on the worm's fun, but like catching them on a moving bite, oh, especially a spinnerbait. She did eat it weird though. She kind of went tick, tick, boom, finally had it. It was like, it took her a second to commit. There he is. Caught him under the boat. No wonder you took my tail, little guy. No wonder you got my tail. You a little fat boy though. Oh man, you're gonna be a he's gonna be a brute of a 10 pounder one day. I mean, look at how fat and chunky you are. Oh my gosh. It's so funny, like these bass have the mouth of like a spotted bass or a smallmouth, but they're in largemouth's body. So crazy. That's what makes this river just so cool to me. Whoa, dude, that felt weird. Holy cow, he's swimming at me or something. I pulled him out of a pulled him out of a crevice. Dude, I leaned up and I was like, holy cow, thought I had a mud. Little fat boy, little thick fat. Hold on, we need some camera time for you, son. You appreciate it. We appreciate you, brother. Hey, yes, sir. Man, it's happening, boys. We were finding them. Upriver was the move. I like, right when I hook set it, just, he was stuck down. I was like pulling him out of the tree, but it didn't feel rough like a tree. It just felt, I don't even know how to explain it. It felt pretty crazy. All right, boys, we're gonna call it on this bank. You know, we had a lot of bites towards the front half, and that's usually what I fish. So we're gonna go ahead and load these rods up. We're gonna go to a couple different spots that are a little different than what we've been fishing, and see if we can change our luck. Here we go. New spot, new game plan. Not really. Honestly, the same game plan, unless we just see something that sparks an idea. We're gonna start off with a worm though. Instead of starting off with like a spinnerbait, we're gonna start off a little slow. Just kind of fan cast around these banks right here. It should be a really good spot. I haven't hit it in a long time either. Oh, and I missed one right away. Dude, what is going on? He picked it up again. Picked it up again. See what he did to my tail? It's probably gonna come off in a minute. Pretty much tore it off. I can't believe that. One little cast, and I'm already getting bit again, dude. Oh my God, hammer it. We found the mother load. And there goes my tail. I'm not gonna let you guys beat me up. This isn't a beat up Noah day. This is, I'm kicking your bass day. Know what I mean? Oh God. Dude, they're biting, bro. They turned up like an extra spice level in the last like 20 minutes. They just like after another. All right, guys. At a new spot, the tide has actually changed, so it's shifting and coming in now. And this is usually about the time that we call it and we go in, but we're gonna fish just a little bit longer. And this spot that we have right in front of us, it can have good days, it could have bad days, or it could just happen. So we have to try it. I mean, I've came up here many times and not got a bite, but I've came up here a lot of times and absolutely changed my whole day. So we have to try it. That was not a bite, but I thought it was. Isn't it so crazy how you have that outgoing tide, boom, it hits low and it shifts and it's just dead nothing. That is so crazy. That is how important tides are on the river. Well guys, that's gonna do it for episode 3 of River Monsters. Hey, we're gonna come back at you with episode 4, and don't miss it, 'cause it's gonna be a good one. Peace out.